Is this normal? It's probably nothing serious. Maybe I'll feel better tomorrow.
Emergency symptoms can be good at hiding. That's why you shouldn't ignore symptoms like chest pain, high fever, trouble breathing, or severe stomach pain. They could be a medical emergency in disguise. Thankfully, an Eastside ER is ready to serve you 24/7 with fast wait times and dedicated ER experts, so we can quickly help turn your questions into answers. Visit eastsidemedical.com.
Broadcasting live from the Subaru of Gwinnett studio inside the Sonesta Gwinnett Place Atlanta Hotel. It's time for Gwinnett Business Radio. Gwinnett Business Radio is cared for by Eastside Medical Center, providing quality care to Gwinnett County and the greater Atlanta area for over 38 years.
And hello again, everybody, and welcome to Gwinnett Business Radio. We're broadcasting live from the Subaru of Gwinnett studio here in the beautiful Sonesta Gwinnett Place Atlanta Hotel. I am merely Mike Salmon alongside Amanda Pierce. Good morning, Amanda.
Good morning, Mike.
Ready to get going this morning. We've got two great guests in the studio. Keith Fleming is here from E2E Resources, and Graham Hirst is here from SunTrust Bank. But a reminder that we are broadcasting from the Subaru of Gwinnett studio, and love is what makes a Subaru. Get big savings and enjoy their hassle-free experience at Subaru of Gwinnett, where people sell cars. Visit SubaruofGwinnett.com and join the family today. We're going to start off with Keith Fleming. He's a benefits consultant with E2E Resources. Keith, always good to see you. Good morning.
Thank you, Mike, Amanda, for having us on. Appreciate it.
Now, E2E Resources, Raymer Sale, I think he's the founder, is he not?
Founder, yep.
We've had him on many years ago, so it's been a while. So tell folks what E2E Resources does.
Yeah, we are an employee group benefit program supplier, as well as HR solutions and payroll services as well. So we're looking for small to medium-sized companies to help handle their employee group benefits and take care of their workload.
And you were telling us before the show, E2E stands for... Oh, that was your... Okay, wait a minute. Amanda, do you have a question you'd like to ask?
Take it, Mike. Take it. You
No,
already took
ask
it.
the question, Keith.
Keith, what does E2E stand for?
Great question, Amanda.
Thank
I'm glad
you.
you asked. Yes, most people don't know this.
I wish I thought of that question.
Employer to employee, employee to employer.
Very clever.
I said it backwards. Employer to employee.
Yeah.
You got me.
I got it.
We'll redo the
And
whole
now
question
we'll remember
and
it
answer.
forever.
Talk about Keith Fleming, though, and your background and how you got to where you are today.
Yeah, it's been an interesting track. Actually, this is my first sales role in my career. Before this, I was working at, I'll go back. I started at Waffle House, 2 years, recruiter, and then I did in SunTrust uniforms as a branch manager for them for 14 years. Went to All Good Pest Solutions, which is, most people know All Good in the Gwinnett area. And I was there for 10 years, and that's where I met Raymer, actually. He handled our employee group benefits there, so we established a relationship then. Then I did a year for Beacon Roofing Company as a branch manager there, and now into sales with E2E, which is a totally different perspective and career, but one that I've enjoyed since April.
Well, you said that you've been on the receiving end of the benefits side, so you
Yes.
can actually sell it from the inside out, which is very valuable, I think.
Well, we all have benefits, hopefully, right? If not, you need to call me. And if you do, you need to call me anyway. But yes, they're important. And most people, and Raymer has a couple neat sayings, but most people don't care about what the cost is when they're sick or when they need them. So it becomes important at that point, right?
Yeah.
So yes, it's an important aspect of business. It is a benefit that most companies obviously provide as a tool to keep good people. So we can go in and talk about that as well and provide programs that are cost effective, as well as take the worry and the time away from some of the HR restrictions and complications for managers having to handle them. So,
as a benefits consultant, Keith, your job then day to day is to go out and find companies and bring them in.
Yes, so we have a great staff internally that handle all the hard work and the due diligence, but that make our jobs easier, obviously. But yeah, my role is to find new business and new companies and clients that we can bring in to help them.
So you want to work with companies that are looking for help with their HR and employee benefit problems,
Correct.
and help with that pain. There's other companies out there that offer the same types of services. So what makes E2E Resources?
I don't know those companies.
We won't talk about them here. We only talk about E2E Resources,
right.
But what makes yours maybe stand out?
Yeah, I think it's how we handle the situation, because obviously when situations do come up with claims, we have a compassion to make it right and help the people. We understand the situations they're going through, whether it's, hey, I lost my medical card and I need to go to the doctor. What do I do? Or, hey, I have a claim that maybe has got some questions and they're not sure about what their benefits are. So when you call the office, you're going to get an answer on the first or second ring. If not, then the Raymer's going to answer the phone. So we don't want that to happen. Obviously, that's our goal. But so we do have a very personal relationship with our clients, and that's what I think makes a difference with us, who we are.
We're talking with Keith Fleming with E2E Resources here on Gwinnett Business Radio. I'm going to throw you a little bit of a curveball here, which is kind of a joke because you're a former college and minor league baseball pitcher. To talk about your baseball career a little bit, and a lot of times when I talk to former athletes and guys that played either college ball, professional ball, they learned a lot in their playing days that they've brought into their business days. Talk about your playing days a little bit and give us the background there, and how some of the things that you learned on the baseball diamond have transferred to help you in the business world.
Sure will. Thanks, Mike. Well, first of all, I was fortunate and blessed enough to go to Georgia Tech and play baseball. So that was an opportunity that didn't think would happen. The story is I wanted to go to Georgia, but they wouldn't recruit me until the day I signed with Tech. I'm glad that I made the decision the way it was. Had a great career. I was, again, blessed. I was a closer. Day one, got the opportunity to come in and do the job, and shook my hand. Coach Moore shook my hand afterwards and said, "You're my closer." Didn't know what that meant at the time, but really was grateful and appreciative of the opportunity. We had some great success at Tech those days. We won 2 ACC championships. I was fortunate to go on and play minor league ball for 5 years, give it a shot, which is the goal, to just have the opportunity. 5 years went by. It was time to get out and get married and settle down, and that was also very important in my life to get going. But what I learned from the game, especially as a closer, is that you can only handle what the next pitch is or what the next situation is, and you can't worry about what happened. You can learn from the mistakes. Obviously, as that role, you have some success, but you also have some adversity that you have to fight through, and you have to be able to put it off and get up and go to the next step and do whatever you have to do to win, and do it the right way, obviously, too.
Sounds to me like you mentioned a few things that were translatable skills. So you mentioned that your coach immediately identified you as a closer. I'm sure that votes well in your sales career now, yes?
Working on that, yes. Yeah, that's
you
a
strike me
good
as
point.
A closer.
I love that. Thank you.
And then also the team work that you experienced through, playing ball.
Yeah, no pitcher's successful without a good team behind them. You have to score runs, you have to play defense, et cetera, and all that. And really the same way we are at E2E, related to what we're doing today. We have great people inside, as I mentioned earlier, and the way they respond, it's easy to sell what we do, from that regard. Obviously, looking for people and trying to get those closed is another aspect of it. I'm new to the industry, new to the business, so the learning curve is still on the upward side, and Raymer's been very supportive from that regard and giving me the opportunity and saying, hey, just go out, believe in me, trust me, and it's easy when you have someone like Raymer who's been doing it for 40 years, his own company for over 26, and as involved as he is with Gwinnett and the networking, and that's really what we're focused in, as well as being involved in network activities through Gwinnett.
That brings up a good point. I see here on some notes that you guys are heavily involved with the community, you especially, and I know you and I have spoken before about your involvement with the YMCA. Maybe you could talk about your position with the YMCA.
Yeah, I've been fortunate when I was with All Good to take on the board position with the Y and maintain that opportunity. Kim Nelson's our executive director at the Y. She's fabulous, has really increased the awareness of the Y locally, increased the board participation. I would be remiss if I didn't say we have a golf tournament coming up in October for those at Hamilton Mill that would like to sponsor and help support and have a good day out. Maybe I can get SunTrust to go out and play a little golf with us.
It's a nice course.
If you just knew anybody from SunTrust.
Yeah, I know. If anyone knows, let me know. But it's a great organization, and the Y, never been involved in it until I became a board member, and truly understanding what they do and what their service in the community, it's really tremendous. And I could go through stats, but not going to do that today, but it's really amazing.
Amanda talked to Trey, our producer, before the show about playing the YMCA song, and I said, no, I don't think Keith would.
Copyright issues.
I don't think that. Unless Amanda wants to to be on video, I
I
wouldn't
can
be
do the
one.
YMCA.
Okay, I bet you
If
can.
we were videotaping this show, we would. So, but I do love that not just yourself personally giving back, but E2E is so involved. You mentioned the networking. I know they've been involved with the Gwinnett Chamber and so forth. So that's a big part, and I'm sure that's a big reason why you're with the company as well. I mean, you want to be with someone that has the same likes that you do.
Right. And Raymer has an organization that he developed, and I'm not sure you're aware of it. Red, Blue, and You is a situation or an organization.
He was here recently, talked about it on another show.
Yeah, and I believe that's November 21st, I believe, coming up, but it's something to look into. And again, it's a great cause supporting the local police, fire, first responders, and those an award recognition program.
Well, let me ask you the most important question. We say the most important question for last, Keith,
right.
and that is for those that would like to find out more about E2E Resources, where can they get that information?
Sure. Our website, www.e2eresources.com, or you can email me at keith.fleming@resources.com.
Great stuff. Keith, thank you for joining us.
Appreciate it.
You know, the thing is with Keith, Amanda, he and I could have talked baseball all day long on the show because he was a Georgia Tech guy, I was a Georgia guy. He probably knows a lot of the players at Georgia that time. I remember some of the guys at Georgia Tech, so we'll save that for after the show.
Another show. Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you. Before we move on, I want to remind you that Gwinnett Business Radio is cared for by Eastside Medical Center. Quality care and close to home. Eastside Medical Center has been a community healthcare leader for over 39 years, nationally recognized for patient safety. Eastside focuses on delivering quality care with exceptional outcomes by using the most advanced technology and experienced physicians. And for more info, you can check them out at eastsidemedical.com. And joining us now on the program from SunTrust Bank is Graham Hirst. Graham is a business banker there. Graham, great to see you.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate you having me on. Amanda as well.
I'm going to ask a question that might sound kind of dumb from the beginning, but because everyone knows SunTrust Bank. If you live in this area, you know SunTrust Bank. But tell us about SunTrust Bank and all the great things you're doing there.
A lot of people think banks are banks, and for a lot of companies out there that we offer the same products as a lot of other banks. I think what SunTrust does different is really focus on what they call their SunTrust purpose, and that is lighting the way to your financial well-being. With that being said, we've started what we call the On Up movement, and that is a free movement for both a free website with tips and helpful guides for both customers and non-customers to educate and help people put additional savings away for their retirement, maybe manage their day-to-day expenses better. There's a lot of great articles on our website that, again, free to both customers and non-customers that allow you to educate yourself, watch videos, read articles, and really start to prepare yourself for those people who are currently not putting away enough money, not putting away a rainy day savings, or maybe not just contributing to their retirement enough. So with that being said, our commitment to doing what is right for our community's clients and prospects has really been a major focus of SunTrust. They strive to focus on what it is the customer's needs are, as well as encouraging their employees to both live-work balance, be happy with their lives, and even take time out to get involved with local communities so that we can give back.
And we'll talk more about that, but I love the fact that you're educating there with the website and all the videos and everything you talked about, because I think it is a major problem these days. People just are not saving like they need to be.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is the case, and they launched the product with both the employees as well as a small test market, and we've used them ourselves, and it's eye-opening when you get to really look into it and take the time to figure out what you should be doing and maybe what you think is going right, and it's not always the case. You can always do it a little bit better, or maybe just make a few adjustments, all the way down to the person who just really hasn't prepared at all, and just give them some benefits to relieve the stress of that thought of I just can't do this. It really opens your eyes to some of the better ways to manage it.
Graham, you're a business banker. What does your day-to-day job look like?
So my day-to-day job is basically going out and prospecting, finding new customers for the bank, and then as we bring those customers in, we have a team that I work with that continues to manage that relationship and make sure they continue to be happy and we service their needs. My goal is basically out there to find new customers that can use my help, can use the bank's help, can use the products and services that we offer, and help them grow their business, expand to that next opportunity that they're looking for, maybe buy the building that they currently are renting or so on like that. So really just understand their needs and get them to the next step.
We actually know a few of his clients. They've been here on the air with us. I won't name names, but he does represent a very high caliber clientele that we're familiar with. Some of them are part of the Chairman's Club, as is Graham.
Well, who are some of the ideal customers then that you're looking to meet?
So realistically, we're looking for customers in all sorts of industries: manufacturing, distribution, large scale mom and pop retail. We don't deal with a large and nationwide retail from my group, but certainly SunTrust as a bank could service that. But if you had multiple location retail stores, if you're a restaurateur,
Hotelier.
That can be a little bit of a tough industry. It's a very niche industry, but it can be done. We call it we refer to it as C&I, and that's commercial and industrial, and that's basically your everyday commercial customers that fall into a need where they're going to need our products as well as our advice, and have the abilities to maybe take on some of those products, such as the loans and so on.
Yeah. Well, and just to elaborate again, and you kind of said it, and I'll just repeat it, that SunTrust obviously can help and serve everybody, but that's your niche for Graham.
Exactly, Mike. That's my niche. We can take all the way from the one-stop mom and pop company all the way up to a major corporation. We just have different levels of the bank that are designed specifically to service those customers.
Yeah. So what are the best ways for you as you try to gain new customers?
Well, one of the best ways for me to gain new customers is to impress the current customers that I have and therefore gain referrals from them. That's probably one of the easiest ways to tee up a new customer. Networking events, the Gwinnett Chamber, as Amanda mentioned, is something that I'm currently very active in, as well as SunTrust Bank from a whole. And so I look for the ideal type of client that can help my book, and in turn I can help them, and just try to see if we can marry those two needs.
And I hear in the referral world that the highest compliment is when your current client gives you a referral.
That's exactly true,
yeah.
Amanda. Yes.
I hear that in real estate a lot.
Yeah, nothing more than sitting down with somebody and them paying you the compliment of saying, you've done such a good job for me, I think you could help out somebody that I know.
Mm-hmm.
Now, SunTrust is the name of the bank, and when people do business with SunTrust, they're not doing business with SunTrust per se. They're doing business with, hopefully, Graham. So tell us a little bit about your background and how you got to where you are today.
Sure, and that's exactly true. We do try to both enhance the corporate name and point out the good things that we do, but at the end of the day, you have to have a good relationship with your customers, and you've got to make sure that relationship is working for everybody. So my experience is I was a marketing major in Philadelphia at St. Joseph's University. I went on to do my master's degree in London, England, in investment management. Came back and spent some time in the Philadelphia area doing investments.
Can I back you? Why did you go to London?
England?
Yeah,
just threw that in there.
I've always been a big fan of England and the city of London. I did a study abroad there when I was a junior, and was offered an opportunity to come back and work for that same study abroad company while doing my master's degree, and thought it would just be a great opportunity and allow me to do some things outside of just school, but also enhance that schooling as well. So.
Okay. So then you came back here.
So I came back here, spent some time in the Philadelphia area doing investments and working in that field. Was then transferred down or asked for a transfer down to Atlanta because that's where my wife was. She was at Georgia going to vet school.
You did not need to have a reason to get out of Philadelphia. I'm just
growing up,
just kidding, Philly people.
Growing up, I never thought I'd be cut out for the South, but I've moved to Atlanta and really enjoyed it. So, spent some time down here doing that, and then got into the different side of the financial world, and that was working for banks, and spent some time with some previous banks. Finally made the move to SunTrust, and have been very happy. Spent a good period of time at SunTrust. Took a small hiatus and was both happy and blessed enough to be given the opportunity to come back, and have recently come back to SunTrust.
And I think that says a lot about SunTrust, that you would want to come back and the doors are open for you.
And a lot about you, that they wanted you back on the team.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way I took it. Was I like to think that it was a positive, that someone was happy enough with me to say, you've got a place back here if you'd like to do it, and the timing worked out right.
Where is your area, Graham? I mean, what areas can you serve? Obviously, SunTrust is all over the place, but for Graham yourself, where are you looking to serve your customers? What geographically area do you cover?
Sure. Realistically, I will go anywhere, especially if it is one of those referrals that we were talking about. But ideally, what I like to do is I spend my office now has moved around a little bit. I'm now stationed right there in the Cumming area. I focus on the Forsyth market, the Gwinnett market, up 85 corridor from Gwinnett north into the Brazelton and Jefferson kind of areas. And I will go down into the North Fulton areas as well. Try to stick above the perimeter, but that's not a hard and fast rule.
Right.
Again, I'll go anywhere where somebody has a referral or there's a good opportunity, but you gotta pick and choose. Atlanta's a big area, and you can't spend all day driving around.
Well, that's a great area, though. I mean, Jefferson and Jackson County and Forsyth County, I mean, all the growth is going there.
Yeah, there is, and there's a lot of growth here in Gwinnett as well, and I've had a lot of real success. I spent my first 7 years with SunTrust in the Gwinnett market, and have spent a lot of time here as well. So that's a big focus of mine. Again, being part of the Gwinnett Chamber and just that community, I've got a lot of clients and a lot of good relationships that have been built here.
I want to revisit your community involvement, because I know that's important for you personally and also for SunTrust as well. So talk about some of the initiatives that you participate individually or in conjunction with SunTrust.
One of the big ones at SunTrust, and I have found a great interest in, is junior achievement. It's really interesting to get into there and work with those kids and help them to understand, because it's kind of life lesson teaching, and they start to. If you've ever been a part of JA or you've ever seen what goes on there, they take these kids and give them budgets and make them do things like choose between different jobs and different ways to live and different cars and houses. And, it starts to really get their minds moving about how you have to create a budget and live within your means. And some of them just start saying things like, man, kids are expensive, or that I can't afford that car. And it's like, yeah, it's not always the easiest thing to do. You have to budget those things. So it teaches kids life lessons at an early age.
That's remarkable, because those are fundamental skills that you want to impede the youth with so that they can be successful adults.
Yeah, and the other thing that SunTrust does is not only do they encourage, but they basically give us the ability to take time off of work to participate in community activities, and we have a few days built in where we can do that.
That sounds like fun.
Graham Hirst is our guest. He's a business banker with SunTrust Bank. You need to give him a call and reach out to him for any of your banking needs, big or small. And if you can't handle them, like kind of touched upon it earlier, you'll send them to the right people.
Yeah, certainly. We have a great relationship with our divisions within the bank, and we're always there to help do what's right for both the bank and the customer. So if it is something that I'm just not designed the best one to do, we'll make sure we push that on to the right person.
And before I let you go, Graham, what are you finding that is the biggest service that a lot of your customers are looking for? Maybe the small business person that's listening right now, are they reaching out for SBA loans? I mean, where are you finding that they need more support and help?
Well, SBA loans is a great thing, and SunTrust is a very, very strong advocate of the SBA product. We have a great SBA team. I think one of the things that we do, that I like to do differently to help my customers and make sure that I'm giving them the best service that I can, is I want to be both an advocate and a consultant for them. I'm never going to know their business inside and out the way they do, but if I can start to understand their business a little bit, and so that I can maybe guide them into what products and services may help them, as opposed to blanket pushing certain things, or really understand what their next step and goal is, then I can kind of develop the way that I want to treat that customer and the way I want to handle it and what expectations I can deliver.
Great stuff. Well, we'll end on that. For those that would like to reach out then and find out more about SunTrust, look into your products or services, how can they reach out to you or find out more information?
Certainly. Well, SunTrust Bank has a wealth of information, as well as our links to our on-up products. And if you want, you can reach me directly at graham.hirst, that's HIRST, at suntrustbank.com.
Great. Graham Hirst with SunTrust Bank. Thank you for joining us. Great to see you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Before we go, Amanda, I want to let people know that hard work leads to rewards and opportunities. By the way, we had a Waffle House reference earlier in the show, so this is about Waffle House. This business cornerstone is cooked into a career at Waffle House. The recipe is simple. They will give you the skills to lead a team and take care of customers no matter what your background may be. Then you're off and running on a great and rewarding career. A career in a place with a family atmosphere that promotes success, inclusion, and a genuine care for customers and teammates. Go to whcareers.com today and find out more. And what I loved about both of our guests today is everything they do in the community, not just personally, but the companies they're with, SunTrust and E2E Resources, giving back to the community. We want to do that as well with our friends at Eastside Medical Center. They're one of our partners, and opioid. Here, you want to read that?
The opioid addiction can happen to anyone.
This.
And improper use of these potentially addictive medications is now a nationwide crisis. On Saturday, September 7th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., Eastside Medical Center is joining HCA, healthcare hospitals, and local law enforcement agencies across the nation to host Crush the Crisis. Opioid
I wasn't the only one.
Take Back. At least we're adding some light air to this message. Crush the Crisis Take Back events provide an opportunity for the community to properly dispose of their unused opioid prescriptions anonymously. No questions asked. For more information, visit hcahealthcare.com/crush the crisis or call 833-582-1970.
All right, a wonderful community event coming up for Eastside Medical Center. Sorry to put you under that. You had no idea you were going to read that.
The opioid.
I just handed it to you. Said, here, read this. Before we go to, we want to remind our listeners to follow us all over social media, right?
Yes, if you're not connected with us on Business Radio X, please like our page on LinkedIn. Follow us on LinkedIn, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter at Gwinnett Radio X.
My thanks to Graham. My thanks to Keith, our producer Trey as well. To our listeners out there, thank you, Amanda. We will see you next time right here on Gwinnett Business Radio.
To be the man, you gotta beat the man. Woo!